Welcome back to another episode of That's Business. Today we're talking about why you should work with us here at the Resume Rescue. Now, if you're following along or if this is your first podcast episode, welcome. We're here to tell our stories. Now, for those of you that don't know, I went to college. I was told it really wasn't a question. When I graduated high school or in high school, it was like, what college are you going to? It was never a question of, do you want to go to college? Is college for you? I was a pretty average student where I got, 3.5 average. I played sports. I was involved in leadership. I did a lot of that. So I go away to college, go to Penn State University, had a great time. I'm told, college is setting you up for success. You're going to find the job of your dreams. You're going to get paid all this money. I thought, sweet, being an adult rocks, until my world got rocked a few months after graduation. When I graduated, I found myself in a recruiting job, friend of a friend, somehow got in there, and I was helping transitioning military vets find work. I took a job making $30,000 a year. I was privileged enough to be living at home, not having too many expenses, and took that job with the promise that, hey, you come in here, you absolutely rock it. We will give you the raise and the money you deserve. Okay, great. I took the offer at $30,000 a year and 0.33% commission. Yes, that is a real number. So I do all the right things. I become number one in the company a year later. I'm beating people out longer that have been at the company longer than I've been alive. I go in, I ask for my raise. Oh, of course, Angela, we expect you to ask for a raise. So I think I'm going to be making the big bucks. Lo and behold, I get told I'm going to be making $35,000 a year. My commission percentage isn't going to change. Well, in the meantime, I get a message on LinkedIn that says, hey, we're interested in you for a recruiting role. They wanted to interview me on the day I already had off. I thought, perfect. This is aligning. Get the job. I take the offer. I get it all in writing. And I leave that company for $45,000 a year and 10% commission. When I quit that job, I'm belittled by my boss for 2 hours, saying I'm going to go nowhere in my life. Not only that, but before that, I get dinner or drinks with my work best friend, tell him what was going on, and he knew I was going to ask for a raise and thought, of course you're going to get one. I got one, and you're doing a lot better than I did. So I do that. And he asked me, he's like, well, I have to know, what kind of money were you making? And I told him what my raise was. And he goes, don't even ask me what I'm making. This man was making $18,000 more than me, more than the raise I was entitled to. And I was the only woman on this team. He's like, yeah, you kind of have to go. And during this time, I was just shocked. I thought we were over wage discrimination. I was like, this is not happening. We're in the 2000s, 2010s even. This isn't a thing anymore. But what got me there was understanding that this is still happening. And I was shocked. I was truly shocked this was even happening. So I quit. Again, I get told I'm going nowhere in my life, get belittled for 2 hours because nobody tells you how to quit a job. But I do now. I was never taught that in college. It was how to negotiate, how to do this, but I never was told how to quit a job. So I work in my new job. It's in technical recruiting. I thought I made it. 3 weeks in, I remember sitting in my car at lunch crying. This job was miserable. They put me through the ringer with training, with the technical piece, and this was something brand new to me. I didn't know technical jobs. I briefly knew what a developer did. I didn't really know front end, back end. I didn't know what a database administrator did. I didn't even know what networking was, and not networking to make connections, network engineering or administration. Looking back, I am thankful for that training, but I was so miserable after 3 weeks. A few months go by. I'm starting to catch on. The boss is kind of there, not there. He no-shows. He's not a good communicator. All of us are very good friends. All my coworkers are friends. Some of them I still talk to this day. But I'm just catching on. And they were just like, yep, that's just him. That's just how he is. And I was like, why is this still a thing? Then people started quitting and getting fired. So I'm like, oh crap, what's happening? So I'm going through this. I celebrate my year anniversary. I'm taking on leadership roles. I'm mentoring new employees. I bring my friend at the time in. I think it's fine. You know what? It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. It's fine. We're just going to ignore it. Then comes 2019. It's awful. In my time there, I hit 2 years, was at 2.5 years. And I'm realizing I'm just miserable. There's no follow through. There's account managers taking commission from us. It's just toxic on all levels. And mama raised me to stick up for what you believe in. So I start calling things out. I start telling my boss my frustrations. I start telling him my issues or where I need support or how these things are happening that I don't agree with and talking to him about it. And I've gone through lots of leadership training. I went to a special conference in college. I was one of 5 people that got to travel to New Orleans. I mean, tell me what we need to do and let's implement it. I'm a big let's make things happen. It's tough decisions, it's tough conversations, but we can do it. Then there was a target on my back. So in 2019, I'm going through everything. I'm miserable. My partner at the time is like, hey, I love you. If you keep staying in this job and not making any changes, I can't do this anymore and I don't want to hear about it. Because I was bringing it home with me. I was crying on the way to work. I was miserable the second that alarm went off. I was anxious, falling asleep every night. I was furiously checking emails. I would check emails, get phone calls on my days off. I had food poisoning one time. And not to share the details with you, but I was expected to schedule interviews right away. Now, looking back on that, my account managers, we all had access to the same system or same CRM or client relationship manager. There's no reason they couldn't have helped me out and stepped up to be a leader while I was literally sick. So all this happens. I'm calling out the toxicity. I'm saying, what are we doing to make changes? Corporate doesn't want to hear from us. I'm trying to get corporate out there, out to our office. I'm trying to make some changes and let's see what can happen. So we're at August of 2019. I have a 2-week vacation in Italy. And it was a Thursday or Friday before my 2 weeks off. I got put on a PIP. And a PIP is a performance improvement plan. So my PIP was because I wasn't hitting our numbers. So in recruiting, on the staffing side, it's very numbers driven. It's very, how many people can you submit? How much money can you make us? Everything like that. Well, I play the quality over quantity game that not everyone would play. So I'm not sending things in unless they're quality people because I don't want my name to be attached to someone that I don't have full faith in just to hit my numbers. So that became a problem. They told me, hey, we're going to put you on this PIP, but hey, don't worry about it. Go enjoy your vacation. This isn't your fault. I'm like, yeah, I know this isn't my fault. Our clients weren't getting back to us. It was a new program I was the guinea pig for, and it just wasn't great. So I was like, yeah, I'm not worried about it. All of these factors are outside of my control. I'm doing my job effectively, and that's not enough. So I go on my 2-week vacation to Italy with my family, a few friends. I have the time of my life. I did, for the first time in 2.5 years, I'm not checking my work email. I'm not going through everything. I'm just sitting pretty. I have my eat, pray, love. Why am I stressing about this job when I'm in this beautiful country, eating beautiful food, meeting beautiful people? I need to stop stressing out about a job that doesn't care about me. So I come home, and unfortunately, I did go through all 500 emails the Sunday before because I didn't want 500 emails in my inbox on Monday when I got into the office. And I go in and everyone's like, how was your trip? We're so happy to have you back. Even people I wasn't friends with was kind about it. So I'd say, and we all worked in a pit. If you don't know what a pit is, it's all open space, open workspace that everyone can talk to each other. But we have our own cubes. So my boss, and where my cube was, you had to walk past me to get to his office. He walks right past me, doesn't say a word. My gut tells me, you getting fired. So I just wait. I'm just waiting. I'm talking to everyone. I'm acting like I'm not freaking out internally. I have a mortgage. I'm already living paycheck to paycheck. I'm already stressed. So what I do is everyone's seated. I get to work. And I get, hey, Angela, can you come into my office? My heart is just racing. I'm sweating. My heart is racing. And I go and he asked me to shut the door. I'm like, here we go. So he tells me, because again, nothing was ever his fault. He goes, I'm so sorry. This is out of my control, but I'm letting you go. You're fired. I have to let you go. So I start crying. I'm like heaving, like dry heaving, crying. And he didn't have words. Nothing was his fault. He's like, I feel so bad. And again, this guy was psycho. He would throw the phone across the room. He would just talk down to us, make fun of people for certain things they had, or like he was just an awful human being. And when that happened, I was devastated. How was I to get fired when I worked nights? I worked weekends. I worked when I was sick. I missed so many things. How was I going to get fired? I never missed work unless it was an emergency. My cousin died at 30 years old. I went to the memorial on Thursday and I was back in office Friday because I didn't have the PTO. And my boss didn't really care. He was just, oh, I'm sorry for your loss, and moved on. He did not care. And I was freaking devastated when that happened. So when I found myself fired, I called my partner, called my mother. My mother and our vibes, I swear, she was like, I knew something was going to happen. I don't know why, but I felt that coming. So with all that in mind, now fast forward 5 years later, we now work with clients. And I wanted to tell you that story because it's so important as to how I am the way I am today. I did all the things. I checkboxed the service. I checkboxed what you're supposed to do. I got the degree. I got the job. I showed up. I went above and beyond. I took on additional responsibilities. I tried to engage the team. I made friends. Like I did everything by the textbook. Every single thing. So now seeing how all that happened to me, and I can tell you 5,000 other horror stories with clients I worked with, I take that and look at who you are personally and professionally. What are you looking for? I don't want personal you and professional you to be a Jekyll and Hyde. You should be the same person. I'm not saying every single facet of you, but a good deal of it. If you have to mask who you are to work in your job, it's so draining to do that. I mean, you have to really find a home or a company that embraces who you are. You spend at least 40 hours a week with them if you're full-time, 35 to 40. But you have to figure out what that looks like for you. I love working with people that I still call friend today. It's fun. It's great. There will be people I've worked with that will be invited to my wedding one day. It's just fun. But when you're working with the Resume Rescue, what we do is we develop programs and services for you. As someone with severe ADHD, anxiety, and depression, I'm very neurodivergent. If you don't know what that means, neurodiversity or neurodivergent individuals encompass those who think differently, whether you have autism, Asperger's, ADHD, anxiety, depression, bipolar disorder, all of those wonderful things. We work with you. And I work with you based on how you need to have these programs given to you. If you're a visual learner, great. We have Google Meet. If you need resources ahead of time, great. I have that. Do you need notes for each session? Awesome. I have an AI note taker for us. But the way we work with you, we don't put you in a box. I know I learn very differently. I'm old school pencil and paper for some things, and others I need to write on a computer. There's not a one size fits all to learning. And this is where, if you're shy, if you're someone that isn't as extroverted as me, or you're lacking confidence, that's where we take the time in our programming to make sure you feel heard, make sure you feel seen, communicate next steps at every point of the way. So you're well aware. We're really big on communication. We meet you where you are. I mean, if you're returning parent to the workforce, if you had to take a few years off to take care of a sick family member, friend, if you took a year off to just travel and see the world, good for you. We can work with any situation. And because we offer various programs, I get it. I was financially strained when I quit that job. Well, not quit. I got fired. Let's be real. When I got fired, I didn't have a savings account. And I bought a horrible house that had every issue wrong with it. All my savings went into the house. So I had nothing. I had to work 3 different jobs to make some income to make sure I was staying afloat. Racked up some great credit card debt during that time too. But why we develop these programs is we have them that fit every budget. We offer payment plans. We understand not everyone is privileged to have the financial backing to do this. We're not the cheapest, we're not the most expensive, but based on what you get with us, we are the best bang for your buck. And we coached you throughout all career transitions, whether you're a recent graduate, getting that first job, getting that first manager job, getting that senior level job, getting the director, VP, C-suite, whatever you want to do, or if you want to be an individual contributor, if you want to transition careers, great. My favorite thing in the world is that we have so many clients that have worked with us for years. I have clients that have followed me from my recruiting days into being a business owner and still have trusted me throughout the process. And we're here for you. Tell me the story. We take a psychological approach to things to think about it really differently. I think not only strategically, but realistically. I know you can't quit your job if you have no savings account and you have bills to pay and mouths to feed, but we can get you to where you need to be. But you have to start somewhere. Looking for a job is a job in and of itself, and no 2 people are the same. I don't care if you have the same job title, you work at the same company. Everyone's experience is unique. So when you're going through this, please consider us for your career services. And if you have any questions, we give you a ton of free resources on our website. Anything you need, your girl got you. And tune in again next week for another episode of That's Business.
If you're looking for a career change and you're not sure where to start, the Resume Rescue can help. Sure, there's no such thing as the perfect fit for everyone, but here at the Resume Rescue, we're on a mission to find the perfect solution for you. Whether it's changing careers, updating a resume, learning LinkedIn, or practicing interviewing, we have you covered. Find us online at theresumerescue.com and find all of our contact info in our show notes.